welcome to the Fixtures podcast. We're back after missing a week, but I'm joined today by Nicky Erdman.
Hello.
Roy Erdman.
What's up?
And a special guest all the way from Sweden, Hans Erdman.
Hello.
All right. So we have some games to talk about this week. We are recording this, just fair warning, before the Liverpool game. We're recording this on Sunday, so we will not talk about that game. We will talk about those teams in general, but we don't know what happens in that game yet because it hasn't happened yet. But let's start us off at the top with Chelsea 2, Tottenham 1. Nicky, walk us through this one.
This game was at 6:30 in the morning, but I actually woke up and saw it. So
Wow.
But this was it was a weird game just because of the lineups for Chelsea. Because
What about the lineup for Tottenham?
yeah, the lineup for Tottenham was a little odd too.
Well, no real striker, as Jose Mourinho let us all know.
For Chelsea, it was a bit odd too because we moved back to we were playing 5 in the back. Plus, we were also playing Willy Caballero for the 3rd game in a row, and Marcos Alonso made his return, and Olivier Giroud made his return into the lineup, which is
Alonso was an animal. He was just
He
fire.
really likes that formation, I think, right?
Yeah, I think that's his best
He has
formation.
more room to roam.
It allows him to get up the field and kind of play more offensively, which I think that's why he kind of fell out of favor, was because we started playing 4 in the back instead of 5, and then he wasn't able to roam as much. But now he's able to go back to how he wanted to.
Yeah, in that wingback role where he really shines.
I know. I think when he plays that specific role, I think he's one of the best left wing backs probably in the world. I mean,
For sure.
He was, just in that game, he was going crazy. He almost scored a hat trick, really.
I mean, the season where you guys won the title, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was insane.
Yeah.
So, do you see him coming back into this lineup regularly?
I certainly hope so. If we keep playing 5 in the back, I think he should stay. But yeah, I think he was outed by Sarri, which kind of sucked. But
So, another big kind of weird moment here is Ross Barkley also back in the lineup. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fine. I mean, Ross Barkley is a good player. I mean, he's not bad. He's not perfect. I don't think he's really quality enough to be starting week in, week out for Chelsea. But personally, I would prefer. But I mean, we've been hit by a pretty big injury crisis recently. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi is out. Tammy Abraham's out. A lot of
He came on, though.
Yeah, Tammy Abraham came on, but he's still recovering from
very
short
And
period.
Conte's out too.
Yeah, Conte's out too. So
I was wondering why Giroud was starting.
yeah, it was because Tammy was recovering from a knock. That's why he missed last week too. But also, if you look at the bench for Chelsea, sight for sore eyes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek making it back in the lineup after a year and a half of being out with injury.
That's great.
Well, speaking of injury, did you see the foul that was on Azpilicueta?
Yeah, so that Lo Celso foul. Yeah.
That's 2 weeks in a row that Chelsea have just been done dirty by VAR. I mean, the Harry Maguire kick on Batshuayi should have been a red card for sure. Because, I mean, Heung-min Son did the same thing versus Chelsea when he kicked out, and it was not even that bad of a kick, and he got a red card. And this one was, way worse, and he didn't even get a card, Maguire. And then in this game, Lo Celso, you could literally see him just stomp his foot onto Azpilicueta on purpose, and he just didn't get a red card.
It was super dirty. So what fixes the Spurs? The Spurs are having issues.
I don't think anything can because they have no way of getting a striker.
They have no goal scorers.
Yeah, well, why did he sit Dele Alli? Why was he sitting on the bench?
I think they're having a spat.
No idea.
I think him and Mourinho are going at it, as is tradition for any Mourinho team. There's always got to be one player.
Because I was watching that game, and when Dele Alli came in, I mean, there was no fire, nothing. I'm just wondering what the heck's going on there.
Yeah, I think
it could be a falling out.
Yeah, I think Jose Mourinho's mad at him. He's usually mad at everyone. So
yeah, he's a very divisive manager. Either you love working with him and he's going to play you in every game, despite the fact that you're probably playing terribly, or you're going to just be a good player that completely gets ousted because he doesn't like you.
So what's his other answer? Lamela? think he played for what, 27 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Melo's
they're
already.
they're in trouble.
He runs a lot.
So
But I don't think he has the physicality to play like a striker role. I don't think they don't have anyone that can play striker.
Well,
don't
Bergwijn
really.
had a good debut last week, but this week it kind of fizzled out.
I mean,
Is it
he's
because
not a
of where they
it's-
put him?
Yeah, he's not a striker.
Exactly.
He's
not
a winger.
striker. He's a winger more. He's not like big. He's not going to be able to hold up the ball, be strong.
Yeah,
and,
I think they need to put Dele Alli up in the middle with Lamella, change the
would be
format,
interesting.
and then take Bergwijn and put him back with Lucas. And I'm not sure about the Harry Winks thing.
Yeah, Harry Winks. He's been like a prospect for like 10 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
yeah, but ultimately Chelsea coming out on top.
I think they should have won by more. I mean, they were dominating this
agree.
whole game. Marcos
Yeah, I
Alonso
saw
hit the
highlights
bar
there.
like twice. I mean, they were just destroying them this whole game. Tottenham really didn't even have any shot off that was like threatening, really. I mean, it was an own goal that they scored. So.
Yeah, I mean, Alonso did go off, but I think he's really going to go off in the next game or two. Who's their next game?
Chelsea next, I believe.
They play Bayern in the Champions League, and then they play Bournemouth next, which should be a very easy game for them, you'd think. But they've kind of been stumbling
Versus the
against
smaller
these easier
teams.
teams. So yeah, I don't know that that's going to necessarily be a for sure for them. But
They
play.
got to pick it up if they want to make the Champions League.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
they're in fourth right now.
Yeah.
That win over Tottenham helps, though.
Man United
Yeah,
is
that was a
sneaking
big
up
win.
on them. Tottenham, we can write them off. I mean, until they figure it out.
Go to the next game.
All right. Well, that's fine for that. I think unless anybody has anything else to say on those two teams.
No,
But
not really.
all right, we'll move on then to Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 0. So Patrick Van Aanholt scoring the only goal for Crystal Palace, and Lazaro going off for Newcastle. These teams right next to each other in the league standings going into this game, but I don't think anyone gave Newcastle much of a chance, and I don't think they ever really looked like winning, and I don't think they had too much of a chance at winning this game. But I mean, there's really not that big of a gap between these two teams point wise, but I feel like there's a pretty big gap quality wise on the field. So
I thought it was a very boring game. That one goal from Van Aanholt, that was the only spark, but he got some huge points for Tom. In the fantasy, he just went crazy and got all the bonus points and everything. So kudos to those that picked him up, Tommy.
Yeah, I remember when I had him at the beginning of the season.
So did I.
And then I let him go right before Man United. And
Well,
then what did he do? What did he do?
Yeah.
He won the game for them.
Yeah, but then he was out and he was hurt for a while because I got rid of him as well. But yeah, I don't know. That's a boring game. What's the next one on the
Whatever.
docket?
I think they'll both be okay. They'll both stay up.
oh, for sure. I don't think
think
either of
so.
them are in danger. Which is,
Newcastle, I honestly thought both of them would be in danger. So they've proved me.
yeah, Newcastle's been doing very, very well considering their team and considering that I think we all had them slotted to go down in dead
There's
last.
still
at the
time, but
Yeah,
they're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would require some big turnarounds from Bournemouth
Yeah.
and Villa for them to start to be in danger. So
And man, Bournemouth, they don't look like turning anything around right now.
which leads us nicely into
Yeah.
Burnley 3, Bournemouth 0. The rough times continue for Bournemouth.
Absolute
This was
destruction.
really, really, like, I don't know how to describe it. It was really a bad game, I guess you could say. Like it was exciting, but like there were so many bad calls in the game. I felt like VAR was involved in everything in the game. There was so many bad decisions, I thought, by the VAR referees.
Yeah, but you got to give it to Burnley. the goalkeeper Pope is just outstanding right now, and they got that new forward that was playing, Vidra. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, he's actually. I was watching that game, and he's quick, very quick.
Which neither of Burnley's starting strikers were started this game, or would you consider their starting strikers, which is Barnes and who's the other one? Why can't I think of his name?
I've never seen a game where you score a goal at the other end and then all of a sudden it gets called off and the other team has a penalty at the other end. Like that was the weirdest thing. Harry, he scored the Wilson, and then they called a penalty for like a minute ago before the counterattack, and then his goal is waved off and they give Burnley a penalty instead of keeping the Bournemouth goal. And after that, they were just completely deflated and they gave up after that.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I think any team would be deflated after that.
And Chris
they
Wood was
gave
the
up.
other
They
striker, for the record.
Yeah, Barnes is out with a hernia. So Vidra got the call.
And Burnley did well, I guess, but Bournemouth just continues to look pretty poor and really just deflated in general. They are sitting on 2 wins in their last 5, so they did get a couple wins in there, but yeah, they are not looking great.
Yeah, they're drifting towards relegation zone. They need to get some results here, and it's going to be hard versus Chelsea in their next game. So
yeah, and so what do you guys think? Is Bournemouth go down this year?
I think they're going to go down instead of West Ham, I would say.
I think they'll survive. I really do. I think they're going to make it. I mean, they're close to the bottom feeders, but I think
they have a
make
really good coach, I think.
Yeah.
He's a really good coach, and I think they'll just avoid it.
They really got to start getting some results, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and Villa, which we'll get to, has kind of been teetering on the edge all season. So,
But let's look at their schedule. I mean, Bournemouth has Chelsea, not going to win. Liverpool, not going to win. Crystal Palace, that could win. Wolves, I don't think they'll win. Maybe Newcastle, and then they got Manchester United, Spurs, Leicester, City, Man City. So yeah, they're in trouble.
Jesus Christ, that's a
brutal
schedule. Oh my God.
Okay, after hearing that information, yeah, they're probably going to go down.
I'll change mine as well.
I think
Changed my opinion.
Yeah, I think they messed up because they dropped points in the games that should have been either easy or like even with them, and so I think that's going to hurt them going forward.
Well, that'll be interesting to see what happens with the coach then, because I think a lot of teams will, take him in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Eddie Howe is a hot commodity, I think, even with Bournemouth.
Yeah,
struggling.
he's very young still.
Yeah. I could see them getting a result against Chelsea next week, though, and if they do, I think they got a shot. If they don't pull that off, I think they're pretty much done.
I think if they were playing Chelsea and Chelsea was home, they would have a shot. But Chelsea's away form is just, for some reason, just amazing compared to their home form. Chelsea cannot win at home for some reason. They can only win away.
But don't forget, Alonso's back, so that's all going to change.
New formation changes things.
All right. Well, I think that brings us next on to Sheffield United 1, Brighton 1. Goals from Stevens for Sheffield United and Neil Maupay for Brighton. So, Sheffield United continues to kind of deny expectations a bit with they're currently sitting in 7th place, tied with Spurs, sitting above teams like Wolves, Arsenal, Everton, Palace. So, I mean, really, they could end up in the Champions League with Manchester City's band if they get a couple favorable results. I mean, how do we feel about them as a side in general? Are they just in good form? Are they a good team?
I think that their position in the table is kind of starting to fall into place. I think they're going to fall down a few more places, drop some points here and there, and I think they're probably going to end up around between like 10th and 7th, I would say. But I think the reason they're doing so good, I think they're doing the same thing that Wolves did like 2 seasons ago. Remember when Wolves first came up and they were like ridiculous? I mean, they're doing like the same thing pretty much. I mean, Sheffield United's really good right now. And I think it's just a form thing. And I think it's just teams go into the games playing them thinking, oh, it's just Sheffield United. Like, we don't really have to worry, like the big teams at least. And probably the small teams probably think that it wouldn't be that hard either. But, I mean, they're a difficult team to beat. I mean.
Yeah, they're a lot more motivated.
I think they need more aggression. They need Lundstrom type aggression. I got rid of Lundstrom and they played him and he went nuts, and then they only played him for 9 minutes this last game. But for Sheffield, the key I think is the goalie that's been really doing them good. They've got 2 really nice games coming up, but then it gets a little bit rougher for them. So I guess I'm still out. My verdict is still out, and it depends on if Lundstrom plays. I mean, I like Fleck. He's, he's really short, but he seems to get through there, and he's so quick. So there's a lot that Sheffield has.
And on the flip side, we have Brighton, who have not won a game in their last 5, and they have 4 draws. So
yeah, they got excited about Murray coming back and making 1 goal and tying a game, but otherwise, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the formation, like you're talking about, Hans. I think that Brighton just hasn't gotten it right. I mean, Aaron Moy, he just seems to be more of a defender, needs more aggression, and
He's more. I would say he's more of a defensive midfielder, and I feel like they're not really playing him in his preferred role right now.
Yeah, he should be up.
Yeah, and I was surprised seeing like that like on the team sheet that he's like an attacking midfielder. I was like, what?
Yeah, it
This
doesn't
guy-
really make sense with him. I mean,
They
he's
have a
definitely
lot of
more of a
good
defensive player.
attacking options, though.
I mean, Maupay is
I think
really,
in Brighton,
yeah, he's not
they have a
afraid
lot
to
of good
shoot from
attacking
anywhere.
options.
I really think they should play Sully March more and Pascal Gross. I mean, both of them are fantastic, and they're both just sitting on the bench. I mean,
Yeah, but
I like
their
the
results have been
new guy.
disappointing.
I forget his name though.
What's that?
Tossard or whatever.
Trossard. I like him a lot.
He's really good too. I mean, they have really good wingers, but they're not even playing like a formation that involves wingers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have really good attacking talent.
I think it's
They
time
can
for
play.
them to change formations. a bit.
yeah, they're playing a 5 in the back.
I don't think they need to play 2 up top. Really, I think you play Glenn Murray for like the first 30 minutes until he like falls over because he's like 40, and then you bring on Maupay.
Yeah, but
the
you
second
could
half.
you could tell though when you're watching Brighton play, it's more of a defensive game. The ball is mostly on the the defender side. The way they're playing.
That's not their game, though. I think.
I know they need to be. They need.
Yeah,
to
but that's not their game. They need to go forward.
Yeah, they need to really.
So do you think that this is a short-sightedness by Graham Potter and not getting the best out of this team, or do you think that he's doing all he can with the team that he has?
I think he's kind of resorting back to what Brighton used to be before he came, because I think before then you would think of Brighton as being like this solid defensive team, really good at home. And I think when he came, I think there was a lot of expectation for them to be more attacking, and they were, and they kind of still are, but I guess it's kind of fallen away. Like they're starting to play more defensively. I don't know why, because I thought they were doing pretty well, like kind of towards the middle of the season.
Yeah, they were. I think they were sitting
They were
upper
they were
mid-table
doing
at
alright.
the start. And I think they had a few poor results, and then I think they kind of got scared and retreated
they
back
had
to what
maybe
they
some
know.
Injuries and I don't know what happened.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, they need to attack more. I think that's the players that they have. They need to play like a more attacking formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Which, I mean, it's
Too many good players are on the bench.
yeah, no, I would agree. Especially when you have good defenders in Duffy and Dunk. I don't think you don't need to play 5 in the back and be ultra safe. So
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the next
Keep it to
game,
Ryan.
we have Southampton 2 and Aston Villa 0.
yes, so Southampton goals from Shane Long and Stuart Armstrong, and Villa losing a game that they probably should have won or
Yeah,
needed
I'm
to
very
win.
surprised that Southampton actually beat Villa here. I thought Villa was going to win for sure.
Yeah, it was like that last week with Villa as well. They did really well. I think they're playing against Tottenham last week.
Yes,
Maybe it
3.
was a different week.
No, that was last week. 2-3.
Son
Villa
scored the
totally
thriller in like the
deserved
last
something
minute.
from that game. I remember watching that, and I was stunned.
I mean, I
think
felt like
Son,
they should have played better.
Son won it like in the last second, I think, or
Yeah,
something like that.
he won it in the 94th minute. So
Yeah, and he had like a broken. What does he have? Like a broken arm or something now?
yeah, he is.
Yep.
Yeah, he's out for a while. He just had surgery on his arm.
Yeah, I think he's out for the season.
Crazy.
So
But yeah, Villa, hard luck. Yeah.
I thought Southampton has a really good defense. With Stevens back there, Bertrand, and then the goalkeeper I'm not sold on yet, McCarthy. But
I think Angus Gunn is a better goalkeeper than McCarthy.
yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to last. But
I think his confidence kind of got
Yeah,
shot though when they lost 9-0 to
fantasy.
Leicester.
Yeah, but I do remember the first time Angus Gunn played for Southampton, which was versus Chelsea, and remember he was just going insane versus Chelsea, Ryan.
Yes, I remember that his debut game. That was a good game.
It was insane. But did Stuart Armstrong play for Celtic?
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like Southampton just buys Celtic players.
Yep.
well, but Aston Villa is 1 point out from the bottom 3, so they're in deep trouble here. I thought that penalty by Grelsch at the end of the game, in extra minutes, was absolutely silly. If he gets another one next game, that would be just not good. So, but I do like Grelsch. I think that he is the one bright spot on their team.
I think they have a lot of bright spots on their team, which is the reason they're still able to be out of the relegation zone.
Well, who's the other one you like?
I like El Ghazi, and obviously John McGinn, even though he's been out injured, has been a bright spot at the start of the season.
So they got a bright bench.
I think
El Ghazi played.
I think Reina's been doing okay since he came from Milan.
Grealish is good too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that was
He made like 9 saves or something ridiculous.
Pepe Reina.
Yes.
I feel like Pepe Reina has been around
Yeah,
forever. I'm pretty sure he's the
crazy amount of saves.
He's the only player. He's the only player in the world to have won a trophy in all of Europe's top flight leagues, like the big 6 leagues.
He's 37
Really?
for the record.
Yeah, he won with Bayern in the Bundesliga. He won with Milan in Italy, and then I think he won with Barca in Spanish in the La Liga.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to check this out.
We're fact checking Nikki now.
I'm not positive on the teams, but I know I've heard that fact somewhere that he has won a trophy in all of Europe's top flight leagues.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Oh, Ryan's checking it right now. But did you see
okay, we
the?
actually fact checking.
Did you see the game with Aston Villa where the
right.
Prince was there, Prince Andrews, and his,
Well,
he's
little,
definitely-
and his son?
Except for England.
What's that?
No,
Ryan?
he won a trophy. I'm pretty sure he won a trophy while he was playing for Liverpool, not the Premier League.
Oh, just any trophy.
just a trophy.
Okay,
He's won a
sure.
trophy.
He's won a
Yeah.
trophy at the club in all the top leagues. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Not
Was it
won
a-
the league with
What
us.
is a participation trophy?
No, that means
Cup games. All right. So that's fine.
I don't think he won anything with Napoli.
No, but he won something with Milan. Pretty sure.
I don't think so. We won the Coppa Italia like 2-3 years ago. I don't think he was there yet. Maybe no, he was because he came when the Chinese came, and we did not win anything when the Chinese came. That's when everything fell apart even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to do a special episode all around Serie A at some point, so we'll look for that coming in the future. We can talk about
We'll have to get
Milan
Hans
at
back
length.
for that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Now that we have the technology, so we can make that happen.
All right, moving on.
All right,
to
moving
Leicester
on.
City 0, Manchester City 1.
Yes, this was an interesting game.
Aguero.
I would not be yelling Aguero right now. So this game was an interesting game. I think Leicester City looked the better team for the majority
think
of
so
this
too.
game.
Oh yeah, they were scaring the
Yeah.
heck out of me.
They were bossing this game throughout the bulk of it, and Vardy just is cursed. But
Yeah.
there was a couple penalties that they should have had, I think.
Yeah, when he hit the post, oh my gosh, and with a wide open goal, and he hit that post. But when that penalty kick came in for Aguero, I was so happy because I had him captain, and then it got blocked. I could not believe that. We're at the local pub,
It went
and
right down the middle.
oh yeah, and it seemed like the entire place was for Leicester City, and they were all cheering and everything. So I couldn't. It was so good when Jesus finally scored, and I clapped, stood up, and made as much noise as I could.
Do you think Gabriel Jesus is going to start over Sergio Aguero? Because I feel like recently Sergio Aguero has been
I'm
not doing well.
Yeah, I think
I'd say the last 2 or 3 games he hasn't been doing well.
I would like to see him play both. I really do. I think they should play both of them up front. Whenever they do, they.
Oh no way!
Oh yeah.
No way!
Yeah.
Because if you're playing those two, then you're getting rid of your wingers. And I would rather have Bernardo Silva and Mahrez over Aguero or Jesus, either of them.
Or Bernardo Silva and Sterling.
Yeah, which he's out right now. But yeah,
No. I think you go with Jesus and Aguero up front. Put Mahrez in the midfield.
Like a 4-4-2.
Yeah, with De Bruyne and just yeah. How do you like Mendy being back? Isn't he looking good?
I don't know about that.
Come on,
Yeah,
what'd
he
you
had a-
think,
he-
Ryan? I mean,
better
Mendy
than
was
Zinchenko
taking
defensively,
shots
I
from
guess.
outside the box and almost put him in and scored twice.
yeah. Mendy, if he can stay fit, he's a good addition. I had a couple notes on this game. Notably, I said at the start of the game, if Leicester keeps playing the way they are and they do not score a goal soon, that they would fold to. They would just tire themselves out, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
They really got, they were looking for that goal, and it never came, and then they just got exhausted. And towards the end of the game, I mean,
Yeah, but
they were just so tired. Yeah.
but they look at the next. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next 6 games are all green. I mean, unbelievable. Norwich, Aston Villa.
It's time for the
Watford.
Vardy party.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a Vardy party. Everybody captain Vardy. Okay, get him.
Does that mean
I got him.
you're
I got
ditching
rid of
Aguero
Aguero.
now?
Yeah, I had to. Got rid of Aguero.
Yeah, I did too.
And
But not for Vardy.
Vardy was just getting warmed up. And it's going to be Norwich, Aston Villa, Watford, Brighton, Everton, and he's got that golden boot in his sights, and he's going to go nuts.
I don't know. I feel like something died inside of Leicester when they got hammered by Liverpool. around Christmas.
No. You know what
They-
happened
they-
was
they've been
Vardy
so
had a
bad ever
baby.
since.
Okay, he
Yeah.
didn't get any sleep.
Maybe.
No, that's a major event, and he was getting fired up this last game. This was just a practice game. He was getting close, hitting the bars, making lots of shots, and
Yeah, you might be right.
he's going to unload next couple of games and be in the Golden Boot contention.
I thought not playing Ayoze Perez was an interesting decision because he's been in quite good form over the past few weeks, and I felt like benching him was a mistake, and they brought him on around like the 88th minute, I think it was, or somewhere around then. And I don't know. I thought that he would have been a better choice maybe over Iancho.
Hey,
Right.
just a note on the Golden Boot that I was just talking about. It's Aubameyang with 17, Vardy with 17, followed by Aguero with 16, and in 4th place is Danny Ings. So yeah, Vardy's just gonna he's gonna be going for that.
I got a Aubameyang for that, but we can get to that game later.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm kind of sad. Actually, never mind. I'll talk about it when we get to that game.
We'll get there. So, any other closing thoughts on Leicester City? Versus
They deserve
Manchester City?
They deserve more.
I would agree with that. They deserve more, especially, and I don't know. Oh, and one other note I did have on this. City, I think, won this game because they could defend, and they had a real center back for when they didn't for most of the season. I think if you had put, and I know that Laporte came off and Otamendi did come on, but I think if Otamendi had played that whole game, City loses this game.
Well, yeah, Laporte is outstanding. It's good to see him back. It's good to see Mendy back with Walker. It's just it's a defense, and then you got Ederson in the goal, and he's just an animal.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how much of a difference that having real defenders made.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to Wolves 3, Norwich 0.
What'd you expect?
I did not expect a double from Diego Jota, but he
Wait,
had.
wait. Didn't your dad say like?
Yeah. So let's take a look at the season at the table.
You're
shall
right.
we?
You're right.
Don't buy any Wolves asset. They're going down.
Wolves is going down.
Let's see. Let's look up from the relegation spaces. Oh, I don't see Wolves. Let's see the mid-table.
No.
Nope, I don't see. Oh, there they are, 8th place.
Above Arsenal.
Above
and
Arsenal
Everton.
and Everton.
And West Ham.
Well,
Yeah,
all
West
right.
Ham. Are you kidding me?
Well, West Ham's in relegation.
Are you kidding me?
That's what happens when you get David Moyes. But we'll get there.
Everyone's ahead of them.
Well, I'm sorry. I was disappointed with their early performance. They are doing well now, and I think
They responded.
it's a much
responded.
better schedule though.
Also, if I remember right, I don't think you were in the best state of mind during that episode.
But they played Liverpool twice, Leicester City, Man United. I mean, it was a really tough.
Well, and also they
road,
were having growing pains, with their first time being in Europe. I think they had.
And I mean,
I
was
think
a
now
Wolves,
they've adjusted to it though, because I mean they're doing really well in Europe too. I mean they've been winning pretty consistently in Europe in Europa League too.
And I thought about bringing Jota into my fantasy team actually because he did so well in the Europa League. And then I was like, no, it might be a one-off. And then he
did really well last season, and I was disappointed this year. Jimenez, Jota, I thought they were going to be there, and Doherty, but Doherty's been disappointing. Jimenez was okay, but they had a really tough schedule at the beginning of the season here. They got the Spurs next week. After that, it's just going to be smooth sailing with Brighton, West Ham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa. I think there's a couple of really good games coming up, and they're going to really do well. But in the shape that the Spurs are in right now, I think the Wolves can beat them next week. What do you think on that one?
Oh, I would agree with that.
I would agree with that. I think it's going to be actually a really good game. I feel like it's going to be pretty even, and I think. Yeah, if Wolves beat Tottenham, they are tied with Tottenham in the league, right? Or they're above them.
No, if they beat them, they'll be above them by 2 points, I think, right?
Yeah, and that'll send Tottenham probably down to either
They'll be
7th or 8th.
they'll be at 42 points. They will be hot on Chelsea's tails. 2 points off Chelsea.
That's if
everything's
Chelsea don't
right
win
Sure.
next week.
Sure.
So I take back everything I said about the Wolves earlier in the season. All right, they got a good schedule now, and I'm a believer. And I've got Moutinho in the midfield. I was debating between Jimenez and Jota, but I didn't pick any of them up. I stayed with Aguero, and then I picked up Vardy. But
I think Adama Traore has been pretty quiet in the last couple games.
I was thinking about bringing him in, and now
he was hurt.
The last 2 or 3 games, he's been pretty quiet.
I know. Well, that's because he got hurt, man. He got hurt. He's just now starting to come back. I think he needs this next game next week, and then after that, you're going to be good with him. So
I had Adama Traore in my
dump
fantasy
him.
for the last.
I wouldn't drop him because
I had him in my fantasy for the last 2 weeks, and I just dropped him today.
No, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got one more game,
No,
and
he
then
got
I think
me
he's going to be
He got me
okay.
1.2 weeks in a row. If you give me 1.2 weeks in a row, you're gone.
Okay, that's Nicky's rule. You go.
All right.
You're
So
out of here.
let's jump to the other side of this game. Norwich.
Oh my
Poor
God.
Norwich. Is there anything they can do
No,
to stay up?
they're going down. They
Nothing
can't.
there.
So they should just start preparing for the championship and just be done with it.
Yes,
Hans, why do you
100%.
still have Cantwell?
Well, okay. Now that I'm looking at the table, it's only 7 points.
And
It's
I mean,
not
they
too
have
bad.
some fairly favorable fixtures coming up. They play.
The question is how many games they have against like teams that matter, like Bournemouth, Villa, Brighton, teams that like can replace them.
They play West Ham. That'll be a big game.
They play West Ham, Sheffield
Yeah,
United,
those are
Southampton,
gonna be
Everton, Brighton.
No, they're in.
Watford.
I think the Burnley, Southampton, Brighton, and West Ham games are going to be really important to them.
Oh, the
If
last
they
three
can get
games of the
Pookie
season.
Party up and going again, then anything can happen.
No, there's going to be no Pookie Party against Leicester City. I don't see it happening against Sheffield United, which is the game after that. Then it's Southampton, and we talked about the Southampton defense, and then they play Everton, and then Arsenal. I think the next 5 games are really big trouble for them, and they don't get off the bottom, so they're in trouble.
Yeah, but no goals in their last 3 games. Their last goal was
That's
over a month ago, and it was a penalty. And a loss to Tottenham. Their last win, I believe, was I'm not including the FA Cup, just in the league. Their last win was against Bournemouth.
January 18th.
And on January 18th was a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I would
advise
against.
that'll get you relegated.
Yeah, I would advise against against having any Norwich players on your lineup.
I don't think anybody has any.
I jumped on that Pookie Party at
Did
the
you?
beginning of this season, but yeah,
How could you
one of the
not
first.
when he scored that hat
Yeah.
trick right out of the gate?
Yeah, that was it. That sealed the deal.
Yeah.
But
All right.
it's been a long time since then.
Yeah.
All right, sorry,
I'm not
Norwich
kidding.
City.
All right. Well,
Was
moving
nice.
on.
It was nice seeing you this year.
All right. Moving on to Manchester United 3, Watford 0. Is Manchester United finally finding their form? Are they finally getting into the swing of things?
They needed Fernandez.
Yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes
they needed
was a
him.
fantastic
That is
addition.
like I had Martial and I kept him. Even as mad as I was at United, I kept Martial. With Rashford being out, I didn't think there was any hope for them. But with Fernandez back, they got a good defense with Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. But it's just Bissaka. Okay, but I think Fernandez is really the spark they needed.
Yeah, they needed a playmaker because Pogba's not really playing. They needed somebody to take Pogba's spot pretty much. I'm kind of sad
Didn't
because
you know when Pogba's coming back? Sorry.
I don't think Pogba is coming
I don't
back.
think Pogba knows when he's coming
I don't-
back.
I was asking Nikki
He's already
today,
gone,
where did
isn't he?
Pogba go?
I don't think Pogba's gonna come
Let me
back.
see
I think
it.
they're gonna sell him. He's such a locker room problem.
Well, he doesn't
Yeah.
want to be there. And I mean,
And
let's
he doesn't
see.
want to be there, and they don't really want him there.
According to Transfer Market, it says ankle problems, return unknown.
That just sounds like he just.
Goal problems.
I've had Mason Greenwood on my bench since the first week of the season, and I'm incredibly angry today because he got 8 points on fantasy, and he was on my bench.
I'll tell you what.
Did he
if Man-
really?
if
Yeah.
He's on mine as well. Oh man.
If Man U can make it past the next 3 games, they've got a really good stretch after that. The next 3 games for them are Everton, which I think that's going to be close or a tie.
It'll be close. Everton has been looking a lot better, which we'll get to. But
Man City, which I think they'll have problems with.
yeah, I don't think they have a shot.
And then
But then
the
again,
Spurs.
that City game is at Old Trafford, so that immediately makes it a heck of a lot more difficult for Manchester City. Because if there's one game of the year that United wants to win, it's United with City
They
at
did
home.
really well, I think, again in that fixture the
Yes.
past couple of times.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like the crowd is split 50-50, and they really get into that game. But the true test is going to be next week. Can they beat Everton? If they can, and they're on the right track, and they start getting that steam or that wind behind their sails, if they can beat Manchester City, I think they just go on a tear from here on out. And earlier I thought they would get relegated and be the worst because I did. I was completely
What?
against United.
No, I thought they would finish mid to lower table, and I thought they would be somewhere in around 10th place.
I honestly can't believe they kept.
I thought they'd be where Arsenal
I can't.
are right now.
I can't believe they kept Solskjaer for as long as they did.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with United. I've always thought they were going to get Europa League.
Really?
I know. I don't know
That's
how
what
they.
they
I don't
are.
know how they
They're
can
like
keep
Milan.
Solskjaer. They kept him through such a bad stint.
No, this is interesting though. So Hans, what is your take on Solskjaer? Do you like him? Do you think he has no business being there. What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's obviously not a top manager, but how could he be? He's only been, in charge of a team for what, like 2 seasons? I don't know how long he was coaching in Norway.
He's only
But I
coaching
don't-
in Norway, I think, for like a season or 2, maybe.
Yeah.
And then
so
he
this
was
is
in
like-
he was in England before that.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
As a head coach. I don't know.
All right, we're,
No, I don't. I
we're
think he
looking
was. I
that
thought
up.
he was.
But I think he's done well because look at the players that they had. I mean, he was playing Mason Greenwood. He's playing what's the left back? Williams. He's playing.
he was at Cardiff. He was at Cardiff for 1 season, and that was the season they got relegated.
Yeah, I would say he's doing fine.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, and with Fernandez and with Martial, I think there's a lot of big pop, and you know Greenwood is winding up to be he's winding up to be okay, and you still got James out there. Defender wise, you're good with the Wan-Bissaka or Bissaka, Maguire.
I guess the thought is I think it's just it's an adjustment from what I guess Manchester United fans are used to. Coming out of the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and then they really have had a tough time finding their feet. So
Well, you can't just buy like the Champions League. That's what they want to do. They're probably one of the richest clubs, or obviously they are one of them, maybe the richest in terms of
Manchester
revenue.
United.
Oh yeah,
You can buy
they're
stock
super
in them at $19.29 a share right now.
Well,
Yes, you
they're super loaded. I know that.
yes, they are.
Like in terms of like money they get from like TV revenue, I think they're ahead of like even Man City and in terms of like what the money they get from merchandise and things like that, they're ahead of Man City. They're a huge club.
Speaking of Manchester City, actually, one thing I think we forgot to mention because this kind of happened a few weeks ago, but we didn't have a podcast since then. Manchester City is banned from the Champions League. I don't know. Did we discuss this on the podcast?
No.
We haven't.
Yeah, they get. They're gonna They're gonna fight that. They're gonna fight it. I mean, I that would be sad to see that happen, and there would be a big question of who's gonna stay. I mean, if Pep goes, because Pep is not gonna stick around if they can't, and then he's got so many other players that would probably move along. So it's gonna be scary for Manchester City.
I think they'll get banned for 1 year.
Yeah, I agree. I
they're
think
not
2
gonna
years
be
is
there.
harsh, but I think they're gonna try to appeal it, and it's just gonna.
Because they really did lie. It seems like they just flat out lied.
Well, I
about
mean,
things.
but didn't everybody? I think that was just like an unwritten thing.
No.
I don't know.
Another thing that happened in the break the week that we were not here, Hakeem Ziyech signed for Chelsea.
Yes.
Who did?
Talk about that. Hakeem Ziyech from Ajax.
Oh, Ajax, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good addition. But do
You
they
mean
need? Do they,
Ajax?
No.
do they need
Ajax,
another
the
winger though?
He's not a winger.
No,
He's a cam or a winger. You can play him on either. He's mainly a cam.
really. I always see him played on the wings.
He's really good. He's insane. I think the only reason we signed him was because
Who's gonna leave then? Who's gonna leave Chelsea then on the
I-
wing? Willian?
I mean, yeah, Williams like 32, so I mean, I think
They're just
he's,
gonna let him go.
I don't think they're gonna let him go. I think they're gonna reduce his role to like a super sub.
Do you
More.
do you see Callum Hudson-Odoi leaving with this signing?
No, he just signed a 5-year contract this year.
But then you have
Interesting.
Pulisic. You have like so many wingers.
I
You have
know, but
Pedro,
all of like most of our wingers can also play other positions that aren't on the wing. Like
you have Mason Mount.
And if you're playing the system that that with the kind of the 3 in the back and the 2 wing backs,
Yeah, that's
typically
true.
you don't see wingers on top of that.
I don't think we're gonna keep playing that. I think it's gonna be a 4-5-1.
Okay, but then
And
you have
who's the one?
well then
But
you
then
have
Alonso isn't gonna shine probably.
Yeah, no.
then you have contention too for those
Alonso
attacking
doesn't care.
midfielder
He'll
spots.
be
then.
up there going crazy.
I think the attacking midfielder spots are probably gonna go to Ziyech and Mount.
And then I guess and then Barkley's gone and then you have another question I have for you. Do you see what's his name? The Italian guy.
Jorginho?
Why couldn't I think of that? Is Jorginho going to stay?
Yeah, he's our vice captain. He loves Chelsea. And he's been playing insane this season. His first season, he was not that great. But this season, he's been doing amazing. He's so good. I love Jorginho.
Hey, when is this dude from Ajax coming on?
Ajax.
Next season.
Next season. Oh, okay. So I can't pick him up?
No. Not until next season.
If you want some donuts on your
Hey, what's the
fantasy.
weather like over there in Sweden? It's February.
I would say it's like 45 degrees or so, 40.
Wow.
degrees.
Wow.
Fahrenheit.
And you haven't got much snow this winter?
Barely any
Wow.
the whole time.
All right. Well, moving on now. Arsenal 3, Everton 2.
Podcast.
Quality content.
This was a pretty good game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring in the first minute was kind of insane.
Yeah, that was a
that was a
weird
perfect
goal.
start.
It was hilarious because I just texted Mark after the first minute and just sent him ... and he was so mad.
Yeah, Mark unfortunately cannot be here today, but we'll just
I'm filling in.
we'll have his man with 3 names rant of Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring against Arsenal.
He hates Dominic
I know he
Calvert-Lewin.
does so much. Which Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also has 3 names. So,
Aubameyang looked really,
No,
really
the reason
good.
he doesn't
And-
like Dominic Calvert-Lewin because he has 3 first names. He says.
okay.
And Nketiah playing and scoring, unbelievable. You know, that was good. And the Saka came in.
Kaio Saka.
Oh my God, that was the game changer right there.
Yeah,
Saka is so good.
why don't they play him all the time? What's he doing on the bench?
He's young.
They
He's
were
only like
playing.
18 or 19. Where's
He's not
Martin
really
Elliott?
He's not a side back though. He's a winger, but they play him in side back because he's just that good.
Where's Martin Elliott? Is he hurt? Or did they just not play him? And not
I have
put him
no
on the
idea.
bench?
I think
No,
think-
Aubameyang came back, and
Aubameyang
they
and
sat
Lacazette.
him. And I was wondering where the heck he went because
No, I mean, Martin Elliott,
Nketiah-
he's not even on the bench.
I mean, I'm
He
just wondering where Lacazette is in all this. Like he's not even.
I mean, I don't.
Well, at least he was on the bench. You didn't even have Martinelli on the bench. I agree.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Well, how many
Was he
strikers
on
do you need
vacation?
on the
scored
bench
last
when you're
week,
running
and
one
then
up
he didn't
front?
start this game. They kept in Keita,
Yeah.
who
I
was
mean-
like on loan to Leeds. I saw him play in the championship a few
Yeah,
times.
it
He
was
did
Leeds.
nothing there. He did like nothing at Leeds, and now he's like taken over as the striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin should have had at least 3 goals today.
I
mean,
still-
they're-
Oh,
think-
completely.
I still think that Arsenal's weakest spot is their left back just because Tierney is still injured. I don't know why he gets injured so much. What happened?
Yeah, both.
He's literally like a twig. Like it's like he comes back for one game and then he's just out for like a month or 2.
Yeah, I think it's a reoccurring injury. Also, you wouldn't say their weakest spot is the Mustafi David
I mean,
Luiz.
it's their defense in general. David Luiz is fine. I was talking to Mark about this. Mark says that he was not happy with David Luiz at the beginning of the season, but now he loves David Luiz.
Hey, I got one question
I thought
because
Mustafi was very solid.
Mark hates Mustafi so much.
I
hate
can
Mustafi
understand
too.
that because he makes some crazy errors, but like if you're talking about technique, like he can play that ball anywhere, and when he's motivated, like he was in this game. I think he's at the top of his game. He's like one of the best.
I just don't think he's reliable enough to
well,
play
and
for
I
Arsenal.
think
He's
if you
not physically fast. He's not like or super strong or tall. You know, he's lacking that physicality for the Premier League.
sure, and if I think it's really interesting watching these two in comparison to somebody like Van Dijk, just with a comparison of how often they're on the ground in comparison, because Van Dijk never goes to ground, like ever. I can probably count the number of times I saw him go to ground this season on one hand. Whereas I feel like Mustafi and David Luiz are always sliding around, and I think that doesn't help their defending, because it's
No.
so I
Once you slide, that's it.
right.
Hey, I got a question on Everton. Do you know what happened with Lucas Digne?
Yeah,
Yeah, where did he go?
Yeah.
I think
I
he's
have
hurt.
no idea.
I'm pretty sure he's hurt right now.
Probably.
You know, I like.
No, Luca Digne is really good. He, I mean, he's young, he's fast.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a really
I-
solid player.
He wasn't even on the bench, and I mean, I picked him up, and I was so excited about it. But I mean, I guess I must have missed that he got hurt.
Pretty sure he's hurt. Yeah.
Man,
It does not say he's hurt on transfer market, but I believe he might be
for
coming
sale?
coming back from something.
Oh, okay.
He's just not fully fit
But
yet.
you know, Mina.
Is he right back or left back?
He's a left back.
So that would be Leighton Baines.
Yeah, they play
Yeah.
over Leighton Baines because Leighton Baines, I mean, he was good back in the day, but he's really old now. Like, he's really old now. So
35.
Yeah, he's like the Everton Maldini.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
He's been with them forever.
So you're saying I should keep him?
I mean, I would. I think he'll probably be back next week.
And maybe I'll get rid of him and pick up Alonso.
I mean, they're gonna need their best players because I mean they're sitting. Where is Everton right now in the standings?
I mean, if you
Lower
want to make
mid.
for Europe, yeah,
12.
sure.
Yeah, I mean they still got a shot. I think especially with an extra spot up for grabs. If City's not there, they have a shot at the Europa League. I think really pretty much anybody does, probably through Crystal Palace
Not Norwich.
upwards. Crystal Palace upwards.
I mean, I
has-
don't think their goals are really to get into Europe, but they want to make at least they want to make it interesting at least.
Sure.
I would say Arsenal upwards. I wouldn't go all the way down to Crystal Palace.
Mm,
It'd be Arsenal, Wolves, Sheffield. Yeah, you can count Tottenham out unless they figure out a striker. Man U and Chelsea. We know Manchester City and Leicester City will be there.
I think Arsenal are going to get into the Champions League.
You think? Interesting.
Well, they would,
Cricket.
no, they could do it. But let's look at their schedule.
So that would mean Chelsea would have to drop a considerable amount of points, and Arsenal would have to pick up quite a few in that time. And
They
I
have
think
a good schedule.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
the top
West
four.
Ham.
I think the top four
West
is
Ham
pretty
is the
much
next
cemented
game.
at this point.
West Ham is the next game, followed by Brighton, followed by Southampton, and then Norwich and Wolves. So yeah,
that could
be.
definitely put the pressure on. For
If they can take 4 wins and 1 draw, then they would be, I think, there basically.
Well,
They would be
Aubameyang is
right
back.
there.
yeah, pretty much they have no losses in their last 5. So I mean, I think Mikel Arteta has really turned them around, and I think he's found a squad and a side that works finally, which I think is what Emery never really found at Arsenal was a side that works.
Yeah, there's way too many big personalities in that dressing room.
Yeah.
Well, I like that he leaves Aubameyang on for the entire 90 minutes too. So Aubameyang is looking really good. So they got a shot.
that's what I picked up for Aguero.
Did you?
And
Nice
oh
move.
yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. Well, moving on to the game that's tomorrow, Liverpool West Ham. What is the game that they can clinch the title?
Is this game even worth talking about?
No, not really. I mean,
this
it's
is
Liverpool's going to
great.
destroy him.
I think
But when can they for sure be okay? No
It's
one
gonna
else
be
can touch them.
3-0 or 5-0.
I think it could be.
or-
I think they're trying to get it so that they win the title at the Everton game.
That would be mean. They would have to draw a game then, wouldn't they?
No, I think actually they
which
have to,
one? No, they'd want to win at home. Which one?
No,
would be
they
the
want
home
to win
game?
against their rivals.
No,
I think as it stands, I think it's somewhere around the Manchester City game that they would win.
Oh my
unless City
God, that
drops
would
more
be-
points.
that would be the game to win it. You know what I mean? Especially because of the battle last year between Liverpool and Manchester City. I would love to see Liverpool.
40 years or something.
Yeah,
How
but
long
I'd
has
love
it
to
been
see
since they
the
won?
opposite happen
league?
this year, where Manchester City wins the Champions League, and comes in second in the Premier League, and that would be exactly what Liverpool did last year. Hey, I want to
No
give a
way,
shout.
Man City
I want to
was
give a
the
shout out to
89
Yemen in Sarasota. He's probably all excited about the game tomorrow.
I don't think not really.
One thing I would like to add about Liverpool, though, Ryan, that you're probably trying to avoid.
What am I trying to avoid?
What happened versus Atletico Madrid?
It's,
The loss.
Yeah.
I
They're not
don't.
undefeated.
I don't think it's a non-issue. They're gonna win at Anfield. I would almost guarantee it.
I mean, yeah, but
I
mean,
think-
you've been found out.
In a two-legged tie, having Anfield
Simeone.
having Anfield as the second game is always going to be way better, and I think they're going to be just fine. I'm not too worried about it.
That's going to be a crazy game.
What if Haller goes off? What if Haller goes off and West Ham wins?
Oh, against
We're not
West
even
Ham?
talking about
Well, we're talking about the Atletico Madrid game in the Champions League. No, I don't think they're really gonna have an issue. I mean, they're such a good side, and I don't think it's gonna be an issue. Does anybody see West Ham getting anything from that Liverpool game?
No, not at all.
Anybody want to make a bold claim?
No.
Who's their coach again at West Ham?
Moyes.
David Moyes.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the bold claim, is that he gets fired?
Relegated, I think.
So Hans's bold claim is that he's going to get booted after next game.
What?
I don't know why I don't even know why they appointed him in the first place.
I don't either.
It was such an odd
To be
choice,
honest.
and not a good choice.
But you know what? Sometimes those games that you think are locks, that you think you're going to win, and the other team has something to fight for because they're playing the champions, and
I don't think it matters.
I think Liverpool has more to play for than West Ham in this game.
Yeah, but how about resting some folks so that they can win the next leg and the champions?
I think the Liverpool reserves could beat West Ham at this point.
Probably. They beat Everton.
They beat Everton.
So let's talk about that. Do you think
Oh my God,
anybody's
they
going to
did,
be?
didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Is anybody going to be sat tomorrow because of that to make sure that they're ready for the
I think
Champions
it's possible. I mean, and the other thing with
Klopp
the
never benches. You never rotate.
not really, but I know that Mane has been coming back from that injury that he had, and I know that Henderson is out. So at least you're seeing somebody new coming into the midfield in Henderson's spot. I could see. I think he starts the front three, but I imagine at least Salah or Mane is coming off at the 60th minute.
I think the only thing that's for sure is going to be the defenders. I don't know. I would.
I
Protect,
think we're diving too much into this game.
But-
I think Liverpool is just going to destroy West Ham either way, no matter who they play. If they played their U8s, they could probably beat West Ham.
Oh my God.
So I think that brings us to the end of the podcast, doesn't it?
I think so. Unless anybody has anything else to add before we call this one done.
Think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
Well,
Hans,
I have
for
to say
joining us.
goodbye to Aguero.
I'm sorry.
thank
I had to
you,
drop you.
Thank you, Dad, for coming and joining us on this one as well.
Please, I don't even get to thank you.
Well, you're always here. So thank you for being on all the podcasts.
You're welcome.
Take care, man. Good to talk to you.
See you all next week.